This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Call La, Yahawah Barak Ahtham, Yahawashi Barak Ahtham, That's all praise to the Heavenly Father, whom this world ignorantly calls God. His name, Yahawah, means He is, He exists. Barak Ahtham, that means in the name of Yahawashi, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus. His name, Yahawashi, means He saves, He delivers. All right, and the Kodash, which is the Spirit Holy, all in the Paleo Hebrew. I would like to give double honors to the elder apostles, bishops of Great Millstone, ruling well, teaching this truth on them highways and hedges, week in and week out, risking life and freedom to do so. Shalom to you. Shalom to the sincere household of faith. Okay, that does include the 144,000 hopeful elect men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay, men, women, and children. That 1/3 part specifically. And the household of faith is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those of you who look like the other nations, going back to the lineage of Jacob. Okay, you are the speckled bird Israelites according to the scriptures. Your brother Tisab on Yahawah. Also, shalom to the few sisters that listen and learn in silence, as the scriptures say to do so. Can't forget about you, sister. Shalom, shalom. All right, so we're gonna get into this video that I got came across on X. It was an active shooting that occurred, I guess, right before I went to camp. Someone posted it on X, so we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna get a few more precepts, and I'm gonna make this a quick one. Let's go.
This shit wow. Got an active shooter in this bitch. Oh my god. Active shooter. Oh yeah, this shit serious. Oh boy, oh yeah. This shit serious. I told y'all, boy, they getting ready, boy. Bro, yeah, they shooting them all up in that bitch. Boy, I was at work, but
All right, so this is posted by Raw's Alert. Breaking: numerous people are injured after an active shooting incident had occurred at a mall. This is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It says at this time, numerous emergency crews are on the scene in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at the Mall of Louisiana, following reports of an active shooter incident. All right, authorities say the situation unfolded near the food court where shots were fired. Witnesses described chaotic scenes, with people seen running out of the mall and taking cover as the gunfire erupted. At least 6 people have been injured and transported to hospitals. It is currently unclear whether the suspect or suspects have been taken into custody. Police are urging the public to avoid the area as the situation remains active and under investigation. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's an active shooter situation earlier today in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Salakia at the shopping mall took place near the food court, as we just read. And so usually a lot of younger people generally attend the mall, so it could very well be a YN type of situation, YN, YB dispute, judging from where the location of the active shooting took place and the likelihood of it happening with the demographic being Jake in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm not sure of anything. This story is still developing, but I want to get back to the precept we was just reading, because this type of thing is becoming more of a common occurrence with Jake involved shootings, being classified now as mass shootings, whereas this wasn't the case. Just a decade or so ago. Prior to this one, I was watching a video about spring break in Houston, man, and it was crazy. Like, like the numbers of STDs and just wild and loose activities. These YBs and YNs, out there, spring breaking at a place where they don't even have a beach. Okay, so it just seems like people got tested, and the numbers came out, man, and it's astronomical, like the amount of disease, and a lot of people are, trying like moving out of Houston as if it's gonna cure the disease. Okay, so hey, man, look, if you a female and use that spring break, man, look, steer clear from me, man. Like, stay away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you. If I hear you from Houston, and especially if you went to that spring break, look, man, look, nah, hey, I'm Gucci, man. Nope. So let's get back to this precept real quick, man. So yeah, man, Matthew 24:12, once again it says, and because iniquity shall abound, okay, the love of many shall wax cold. And so let's look at let's look at what the AI overview got to say about this precept right here. All right. And it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. It says it's a prophecy from Yahawashi describing these end times, right? It means that as lawlessness, wickedness, and immorality increase, many people's love for Yahawah and others will become indifferent, dead, or hardened, losing its warmth and compassion. Right, man. So you see a lot of lawlessness, people taking things into their own hands, taking justice into their own hands, carrying around these little 9mm with this the extended clips and these so-called switches. Okay, lawlessness, man. Like not really adherent to the laws of the land, nor the laws of the Heavenly Father, which is most important, right? Wickedness is increasing, man. It says and immorality. Okay, a lot of immoral actions and activities are taking place in Babylon the Great, because that's what America is. Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. So it's a lot of harlotry going on. You got a lot of animosity. You got a lot of jealousy. People, as I mentioned in the video, a lot of people got diseases. A lot of young people, and they don't know how to get along. They don't have proper guidance. They don't have any. They don't have a sense of self. They don't have a sense of culture. They don't have knowledge of self. And for it, belonging to our people, confusion of face, because they don't know who they are. So they're acting out and acting wickedly because they don't want to listen to instruction, for one. And it says in the scriptures that rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Okay, and what does it say in the law about a witch? It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So sin is transgression of the law, and the wages of sin is what? Death. Okay, so this is what we're gonna see on an increasing basis. The love of many waxing cold, and the death tolls increases. Okay, the pestilence, which is these diseases, they pass into each other. Having multiple partners, and their partners got it, and then you're gonna have fights and skirmishes come from that. And it's a hot damn mess. But this must be, and you literally see judgment taking place at the sanctuary first, man. The house of Israel, okay, and Judah, northern and southern kingdom. These things are happening to our people like I say, at an increasing, alarming rate. So with that being said, we in the end times. That right there is a telltale sign. Okay, these are the end times, man, that we're in. Okay, and judgment is going out, man. Judgment is going out. And it's not even summertime yet. When it get hot, people tend to have a higher temperament, meaning irritability increases. So we ain't even there yet, and we already seeing news like this. So it's just gonna be it's gonna be hot, but it's gonna be a cold summer. You know what I mean? These people, like I say, they don't want to hear instruction, so they're not really hearing the men of Yahawashi preaching on them highways and hedges, because they want to go about life their own way. Okay, let's get some precepts. All right, so you have a disregard of rule, you have unruliness taking place, right? 2 Ezra 15:16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, okay, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. okay, which would be in this case what the governors, the police, chief of police, sergeants, governors, presidents, stuff like that, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, which means, kill or be killed out there, man. Eye for an eye out there. It's the Wild West, so to say. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Now, these little situations, these little mass shootings that's happening, man, are very serious. Okay, and it's really going to push this digital ID that they really they just executive ordered. Okay, they just EO'd it. Trump just EO'd it, right? And it was basically it's dealing with banks, right? But it's biometric identity, where it's like they have your face on your card. So if you go anywhere, if you want to have a bank account, a checking account, or savings account, your face is going to now be in a database. It looks just like the rollout of the social credit scoring system in China, whereas okay, look, if you're a dissident, if you're a seditionist person, a sedition type person, right, speaking out against the government, or you're doing something wild, if you're a criminal, even, they're gonna have you on that database and pretty much can block your money, block you from traveling, block you from events. It's just like like COVID, right? When that whole thing happened in 2020. They was trying to, they were heavily suggesting people have their vax card so they can get into events and stuff like that. So that serves as a forerunner to what they're doing with this digital system, right? So it ain't gonna be nowhere to go with the geofencing once that takes hold, right? You won't be able to go anywhere. And it's going to be under the guise of peace and safety, because you got situations like the shooting, right, occur, and they're like, okay, well, it's just another excuse, another catalyst, if you will, for them to go ahead and implement the MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16. Let's get that real quick. They got an old saying. They say all roads lead to Rome. Well, this is Rome 2.0, man. And they rolling out that mark of the beast system, man. It says in verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, aka charagma, in their right hand or in their forehead. That's the implantable microchip. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So it's the beast system that they really pushing forward, right? It says, and he causeth all, so it don't matter your status, YN, YB, rich, poor, free, bond. You could be in jail. Okay, if you go into the store, get you a little commissary, guess what? That MOTB gonna be in your hand. You know what I mean? If you consent unto this devil, but you're supposed to endure unto the end and not take it, because in the next chapter over, it's made very clear what's gonna happen to them people, okay, that take the mark of the beast. Revelation 14 and 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Okay, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in their forehead or in their hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of power. Okay, so it says, which is poured out without mixture, right, into the cup of his indignation. So that means it's strong to the fullest extent of strong and strength and powerful. Okay, it says, and he shall be tormented with fire, he who take that mark. Okay, you shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The Lamb is Yahawashi, man. All right. Hey, this is what's gonna happen, man. So, the love of many is waxing cold. These are perilous times. The days be evil. Okay, Jacob's trouble is here, but only the election, 1/3 part of Israel, men, women, and children is gonna make it. They're gonna be saved. Okay, so those that are in the know got the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and are doing their best to teach others and edify others. But there are many who don't want to accept this truth, right? And that's that broad and wide path that leadeth on to destruction, right? The ones that's headed toward life is the ones that's on that straight and narrow, entering in at the straight gate, the path of difficulty, which is the path of discipline, which these young ends and these young beasts don't have. They lack discipline. A lot of them come from single family households because their mama want to be independent. Okay, all this stuff like this. Okay, they chasing after Edomites. Okay, white tea men, even older ones now. I see it's a damn shame what these Jake women is doing, but it's a damn shame what the young men is doing too. The older men, some of these older men too, you know, just going off totally. Right, lost in the sauce, confusion of face. Don't know who you are. Don't care to know who you are. You know, you practicing Christianity, whatever it is. You might not be practicing nothing, but the fact remains is you lost because you don't have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and that's something that's written. Okay, so with that being said, Lord's willing, is edifying. To the next one, I'm out. Shalom.